Hi, I'm Dr. Tom Gross. My specialty is optimal health. I want to talk to you today at Junction Creek along the Creeper Trail in Virginia about energy production problems. Most of our health-related degenerative diseases and the major health concerns in our culture are a result of energy production problems. Today I'm going to single out one: GERD, acid reflux, heartburn, acid indigestion. These are very common complaints in our culture. And I think it's important for all of us to realize that these conditions are symptoms of an underlying, more serious condition. And at its roots, that condition is an energy production problem. You see, in order to produce stomach acid, we require a large amount of cellular energy. Our body produces energy by two basic mechanisms: anaerobic metabolism, which is a big fancy word for saying we spend a lot of our fuel supply to get a little bit of energy. Even fungus is capable of anaerobic metabolism. But what we rely on for our cellular processes, for the most part, is very special. It's called aerobic metabolism. Aerobic energy production produces a large amount of energy, about 15 times more energy for the same amount of fuel. That fuel is mostly glucose. So, in order for us to produce stomach acid, we burn up a large amount of energy. We have to generate a large amount of energy exclusively in the aerobic pathway. Because in the aerobic pathway, one of the byproducts of aerobic energy production is CO2. And that CO2 is used by the body, among many other things, to make stomach acid. Most people believe that what they've been told in their traditional doctor's offices or from the television commercials, that acid indigestion, or GERD, is because of the overproduction of acid. But I challenge any of you who've had that diagnosis to determine whether or not there was any kind of a laboratory assessment to determine whether or not indeed you overproduce stomach acid. There is such a test. It's called the Heidelberg pH meter test. There are practitioners who have this Heidelberg test. And those people find that it's very rare for somebody actually to overproduce stomach acid. In fact, if you think of it, it's kind of silly to overproduce stomach acid because it uses such a high amount of your cellular energy, which is such an important resource. In fact, what they find, those doctors who do the Heidelberg test, that the majority of people who suffer from GERD or acid reflux or acid indigestion are actually underproducing stomach acid. That's right, you heard me right. They don't produce enough stomach acid. So why would they have acid regurgitating into their stomach? And why would acid inhibitors help to reduce their symptoms? Well, the reason is simple. There's a sphincter at the bottom of the stomach. It's the lower esophageal sphincter. And this sphincter is closing off the contents of the stomach so that the acid in the stomach doesn't come up into the esophagus. You see, the stomach is made to handle acid at a very, very low pH. As low as 1.5 or 1.6, or sometimes even lower. If you had acid that low pH in a reagent jar and you took the little glass lid off, it would smoke. Our body's capable of making acid that concentrated, but that acid is designed to be in the stomach. And when that acid comes up into the esophagus, the cells in the esophagus are not designed to tolerate acid that is that low pH. And it hurts. And it actually can damage the esophageal tissue. So people take acid inhibitors, which buffer that acid. And when that acid gets buffered, it stops burning your esophagus. And they feel like that they have solved their problem. So they just, as long as they keep taking these pills and they don't have their acid reflux symptom, then they feel like they're healthy. Nothing could be further from the truth. your body requires that kind of pH in order to digest your food properly. All you're doing by buffering that acid and by increasing the pH is you're preventing yourself from having that symptom. However, you're preventing yourself from being able to digest your food. If you're not able to activate the enzymes in your stomach with acid of a pH of, say, about 1.5 to about 2.5, then you're not going to be able to break down the proteins in the food that you ate. And in a large number of people, the actual acid indigestion that they're feeling is not because the acid is too strong in their stomach. It's because the protein in their stomach isn't able to digest properly, and as it putrefies, it produces its own form of acid that we experience as acid reflux, or as a burning sensation in our stomach. The stomach contents have to be acidic enough to activate the protein digesting enzymes in our stomach. Furthermore, if the food that moves from our stomach into the first part of our small intestine isn't acidic enough, then it won't trigger the release of pancreatic secretions, which buffer it down and also bring a whole lot of other digestive enzymes to break down fats and starches. And if we don't get those enzymes, then we don't digest our food properly. So in a nutshell, if we don't have enough stomach acid, we're likely to experience the symptoms of acid reflux for a number of reasons. One, the acid actually triggers the lower esophageal sphincter to close down. So insufficient acid production can cause a leakage of the acid into our esophagus. Two, if we don't have sufficient amounts of acid to trigger the pancreatic secretions in the first part of our small intestine, called the duodenum, then the pancreatic secretions are insufficient to digest our food, so that food moves through the rest of our digestive tract putrefying. One of the dumbest things that we can do, I'll repeat, one of the dumbest things that we can do is to take acid inhibitors if we have symptoms of acid reflux. Now there is an exception. If people have done the dumbest thing long enough, they can actually have scar tissue at the bottom of their esophagus, which prevents their esophagus from contracting properly. But even some of those people can recover enough of their function to be able to digest their food properly. The key thing is that we need to identify the true problem and not just treat the symptoms. Because if you can't digest your food properly, then you're going to have digestive problems, malabsorption, you come up with nutrient insufficiencies, poor mineral absorption, insufficient amounts of protein in the diet, poor essential fatty acid absorption, and just a whole lot of digestive problems. But what's moreover, one of the most important aspects of the barrier of acid in our stomach is that it actually kills the germs in the food that we swallow. So if we're not able to kill the germs in the food that we swallow, then those germs are going to flourish in our digestive tract, which is a condition called dysbiosis. And let me tell you something. In the physiology textbooks, it says that if your pH is in the 4 range, you are absolutely going to get a digestive infection, an infection in your digestive tract. And that digestive tract infection is associated with plaque in your arteries, heart disease, and it can cause your liver to have problems. It can be a complicating factor in many other health conditions. So seriously, one of the dumbest things that you can do is take an acid inhibitor. You need to get the right diagnosis in order to restore optimal health. You need to find out, in fact, if you're producing energy, if your lower esophageal sphincter is working properly, if you're digesting your food properly, and then treat the actual problem with nutrients and restore your health. Thank you for tuning into this health moment. My name is Dr. Tom Gross. You can reach me at toll-free 1-877-YOU-WILL-HEAL, U-W-L-H-E-A-L. My office is in Mills River, North Carolina, and I help people with chronic health challenges recover their optimal health. Thank you, and look for some of my other health-related shorts. Have a great day. Remember, it's never too late to recover your health.